So we've got the lighted up beam Sacramento Kings who had a first round exit and, obviously took Golden State to 7 games, did have a 2-0 lead, and then, lost basically most of the games remaining, 4-1 in the last couple of games in that series. But Sacramento, all of a sudden, bright future, right? Make that Domantas Sabonis trade for Tyrese Halliburton, which at the time felt not very smart and now has aged very well very quickly. And so now they're in a situation where, well, how do they build on this success? They had a great regular season. They went up against the defending champs, gave them a real run. Where do they go? So this was a hard team because a lot of their salaries are actually pretty solid. They're not paying anyone an excessive amount of money. I believe De'Aaron Fox is the most expensive player on the team, which he really earned that, being the fourth quarter wizard that he was last season. So um, this one I'm on the fence about. I think I commented to your off video that these last set of teams, I really started to run out of gas. Because some teams probably do need to just stay the course, and some teams can't really do too much and they're really locked into things. So what I'm looking at on this one, and this is the rationale, and you can shoot this one down, and I actually might agree with you if you do. I won't stand my ground too much. But Harrison Barnes and Kevin Herter, I think, there is a lot of wing players on this team, and how can you flip them? And I think what you need on this Kings team now is you need a vet, right? Irrelevant of Sabonis having a tiny bit of playoff experience before this. He is not the vet. Mike Brown really helped steady them, but you need a vet. And I'm sending them to the Bucks for Chris Middleton. Obviously, Middleton, championship player. We know the injury concerns there, but you would hope that with a youth movement and maybe, a secondary role or even a third role to Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, that it could end up being there. But that's the only suggestion that I'd make for the Kings. Otherwise, I would actually run this back just to see how they go, especially as a young team who didn't have many injuries last season. But your thoughts on what that involves, and then your pitch.
I feel that you need to step out of each front office and step into the next front office, right? Because if you take that viewpoint, every front office here across 30 teams effectively, even the NBA champs here, and you might have saw this week they made a trade of picks, I think, to the OKC Thunder, which was an interesting trade, and the timing of the trade, obviously being in the middle of the finals right now, they made they sent some trades, some picks either way with the Thunder there to sort of set them up for the long run. There's always options and ideas to explore, and it's a matter of which ones ultimately pan out to be the right ones to explore and worthwhile exploring to do. Okay, and I think so I guess to maybe help you a little bit where you're like, oh, I'm out of ideas here. Sometimes, okay, I'm going to agree with you here that the Kings should stay pat. Okay, in the bigger sense, they obviously have taken a big step here. First year under Mike Brown, full season of Sabonis, made the playoffs, did get eliminated first round, but in 7 games in a very respectable way against the Warriors. And, how do you get a little bit better? Now, you mentioned it, and I will agree that they probably do need to add some vets to this team. Okay. Specifically, I think one area that the Kings were lacking a little bit, which was quite evident as the Warriors series wore on, is that who plays behind Sabonis? Yeah. Sabonis is a great player, very productive, had a great regular season, but the playoffs came in and a lot of attention was focused on him for 7 straight games, and his numbers were dipped from the regular season to the playoffs. It's like, what's a vet that could play behind him that could really help the Kings here if he's not having the greatest of games. I think that's definitely an area that they need to address. I think, again, like we said, staying patient and looking for internal growth from a lot of these younger players. I think Herder had a real down shooting series as well. And I don't know if you saw him in the three-point shooting contest. He had a woeful three-point shooting contest, which was actually funny because I was watching one of his clips before the three-point shooting contest and it was putting in the work, right? Showing everyone his range. And then here came the big day that, and he sort of choked that day and really didn't, put up any sort of score in the three-point shooting contest. But, him If they keep Davion Mitchell, which is under contract for a few more years, if they can continue to get solid growth from him, to play minutes that Fox sits in that sort of sense. Malik Monk has been obviously a huge asset off the bench for them too. I think these players here, if they can just make progressive steps, small progressive steps, the Kings continue to, their trajectory continues to move up. I guess from the sake of trades here, the one trade that I had here makes here does bolster their bench a little bit with some real interesting prospects that could do with an expanded role on a new team. And I'm sending out, they're saying it's trading out Richaun Holmes. I think that's his name, yeah, Richaun Holmes, which they didn't really play much this year. Obviously, with Sabonis coming in, if I don't know if you remember, before Sabonis came in, he was starting and he was averaging a double-double, something like 12 and 10 or something, 12 and 8, 12 and 9, yeah? All right, so he's actually a fairly productive player when he's on the floor. And he hasn't been played now because he's, fallen out of rotation. I'm saying you send him, Holmes, to the Knicks, and you bring back Obi Toppin, Quentin Grimes, all right, and McBride, and the salaries match, and you booster the bench here for the up-and-coming Kings here. And, you be patient. You be patient as a Kings fan.
I also did have in a previous Atlanta video, Rashawn Holmes and Davis heading out for Clint Capella, obviously with that need for the center. But that depends on Atlanta destroying everything in that video. So you're obviously anti the Middleton thing for Barnes and Herter there, or
in your fantasy world, which clearly Middleton's going nowhere. You know that, right? Middleton is going nowhere. Okay. If you could trade Middleton for Herter, I think you would take it. Yeah. So I think if you were the Kings, you would take it. But you know what? I can go in the trade machine too and find you probably other trades, Herder for another high quality player. Hey, did you notice Ja Morant's contract's not that huge? How about
yeah,
Herder
it's
for
because
how about Herder for Ja Morant? Yeah. And I think you take that trade and his guns in a heartbeat, right? That's the point. But I think I'm being realistic here a little bit. And I don't know about you.
This is Two Guys with Spare Time. I'm Faz, this is Nick. You're probably a basketball fan like us, so hopefully you can throw us an assist and giving our video a like and subscribing to our channel.
And if you got thoughts, feelings, or even some suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below. And thank you for using your spare time to watch us in our spare time.